Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I am yours truly, one of the co-hosts, Derek Mercer, along with,
Go ahead, Derek. Go ahead. Introduce me right. Give me the proper introduction. Since it's yours truly, Go ahead. Proper introduction.
You're supposed to tell people who you are because
you already done made it be like it's so.
I have to, because the thing about it is, you want a whole grand layout, and I don't really have the time for it today. So
blah 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 blah. This is Jewel, and then you can already tell that today is already going to be a mess. This is actually the first time just me and Derek on the mic today, so I can already tell he ain't gonna behave, but it's okay. It's okay, because I've been going through all of our content from what we previously recorded, been putting it out on social media, because we finna get ready to, start recording, more.
And you just realize how how aggravating, how narcissistic you have been.
Not narcissistic. No, but what I have realized is the difference in opinions between the males and the females on the show.
Definitely.
So this is going to be what I call my version of 21 questions.
Gotcha.
Not 50 Cent's 21 questions, but
gotcha.
We know you know that, even though that's worldly music.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course, no.
Okay. So a lot of this stuff, just going back, just listening, I was like, whoa, we said that? They thought that way? And I want to apologize for a few of the ones that I kind of blew the hinge,
Oh, you talking about the one
I got disciplined afterwards.
Yeah, it was necessary. Yeah, you talking about that scene where you was pretly much like the Atlanta Housewives and them kind of type? Or where
No, the other one.
Oh.
No, for real. Going back on that,
you're just passionate, that's all.
Yeah, going back on that, I had a totally different perspective when I went just kind of reviewing the content.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard sometimes when you're moderating. You can't actually always comment the way you want.
Certainly.
Or even really get your full thought out before somebody else jumps on. And then next thing you know, the conversation then changed, and, you would hate to be the person to say, oh, no, go back.
Yeah.
But some of these stuff, I really feel like it should be an opportunity for us to kind of expand on, which I know everybody is not in the same position or have the same thought process that they did, when we first started or even last year or whatever. But it's some questions I would kind of like to know, just because I'm definitely not where I was, and so for some of the clarity, a lot of this stuff was relationships and people's preferences. So I want to just kind of put it out there, just for me, a learning lesson is that, yes, I am passionate about whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's mainly because you get so many people trying to project what it is that they think is right on you. And to me, I'm that person to say, it's okay for you to feel the way you feel. Let me feel but let's not banter back and forth.
Yeah.
Because that's I think the bantering is what kind of gets me more heated than the conversation itself.
Understood.
But also inconsistencies. It's on one show, you would say XYZ, and then on this one, because it's a different set of people or whatever, or because it looks better, it just irks my soul.
Yeah, we know you're so passionate.
Yeah. So with some of the stuff though, you and Don, you guys had what we call a male perspectives session. So you guys kind of talked on the wife.
Wait, do you have to Like
because I'm getting ready. Like, I'm in my mode because,
it's like it's just so
stuff,
tiresome. Come on.
It's not tiresome, but it's kind of like, are men and women really that different on how they think?
Yeah.
But why? Like, ugh.
Well, okay. I mean, we can share some levels of commonality, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you're talking about male, female. I mean, a great deal of how we're even raised has a lot to do with it. I know in society, a lot of things have changed, but let me just say from how I was raised, we wasn't raised thinking about marriage. I wasn't thinking about marriage as a little kid. I'm thinking about trucks and toys and tearing up and building stuff. Y'all are already playing with Barbie and Ken, and y'all have already, for the most part, most of you kind of already had a certain sense of romanticism. And so just even that upbringing alone is kind of different, disconnect thought process, and so how we're raised and our thought process and what we come into, and then realizing what we want, what we don't want, and vice versa,
But is that because of the fact that women are just kind of like probably raised by their mothers and that's what they see more so?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your background. I mean, but again, it's all according to how were you raised, what influences your thought process. My question a lot of times always is where did you get that from? How did you get to that place? Was it the way you saw what you saw in your household? Meaning, for some is to duplicate that model. For some is to get away from that model. Church for some is an influence. Friends. Definitely today, a great deal of social media is definitely influencing a great deal of how we think, because people are trying to make their lives line up with these other postings. Mm-hmm. A post is not processed. You know what I mean? Right. So that's kind of the hypocritical dynamic to that. And sometimes people are not who they post to be. So
we definitely discussed that. It's so funny because like you literally just touched on about 5 of the questions that I actually had. Mm-hmm. One of my first was like, are we all the way from the age of where marriage is even the end goal for relationships?
I guess it depends on the person. It seems like in society, that's coming to be the thing that a lot of people just do not kind of want to go into. Some feels like it's a business decision. Some have gotten to a place where they're like, I'm not trying to do it.
It's all in my business.
I mean, we just talk about this. It's just the world we live in.
Right. So. Man, that is crazy because just thinking about it, it's like you tear apart like all of the things that you see that's wrong mm-hmm. with relationships or mm-hmm. what they put forth. What's wrong. And then you try to like not make it to where you're making the same mistakes as other people, but a long time ago they used to arrange marriages. Mm-hmm. You know mm-hmm. what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. in that particular instance, like, is it supposed to be that you're supposed to learn to love that person? Or should it be just like an arrangement, business, type? And how does that look, you in the church and stuff? Mm-hmm. Like, is there a conflict of how you think things are? Or does most of your thoughts and stuff line up with what tradition says for a relationship?
I'm a traditionalist to an extent. Now, I'm a firm believer that a man should find the wife.
So no arranged.
No, but to be honest, I'm kind of one of those. It's all dependent on the situation, like mm-hmm. Meaning like to some degree, that far traditional sense of whether the marriage was arranged. A great deal of that was trying to prevent those from mixing in wrong cultures, right? Mm-hmm. So there's really no integration. And then also you have to deal with where believing that this would be the better fit for the person based upon what I know about you, your purpose. She's being groomed up into this way. You've been groomed up for this. Mm-hmm. So that would be more of the quote unquote best fit. Well, that's something that I would go for. Absolutely not. because you're not.
Oh my God, why? That's a surprise. I would have thought that would
No,
be...
because to a degree, I think one of the greatest things is that although I think advice is important. I think you should advise me, but it ultimately needs to be my choice. There's something about you choosing that gives you this freedom and importance also at the same time of like responsibility. When you choose it, you tend to understand that it comes with something, and it points back to more of an accountability, like to self, and if I'm because what happens if I don't like who you chose, and then you're not going to force me to like this person. I don't like them, and
ain't that like just culture? Because the American culture says I can choose to do whatever I want.
I mean, God gives us free will. He doesn't make us choose him.
But now some of the people think that even dating is like a practice for divorce. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, dating, the root word of dating is data, collect your information. I think the problem, some women, not all, because some women now, they savage now. So it's crazy. Like I be like cracking up.
Right, yeah.
I mean, cut these dudes up like nothing. I'm talking about it be men crying now. Like, she just, understand. See, that, so it used to be the man going crazy.
Yeah,
these women got these men in their feelings forever, and some of them,
Yeah.
But anyway, the root word of dating is data. And so taking the opportunity and collecting the information and ultimately seeing, okay, what really works for me. And so a lot of times people showing up on the first date trying to figure out, is this the one? Like, no. Calm down. Take a break, enjoy, get some information, process this. How do they handle, and you need to deal with people in different seasons, how you handle anger. When you mad, I need to know, do you tear up stuff? Do you bust walls? Do you bust windows? Are you stalkerish? How you act when you sick? How do you act when you broke? What do you do? What sets you off? Can I deal with that?
Yeah, but if you drag it out.
Who said drag?
You talking about processing it.
You gotta process it. See, this is what keeps folk from jumping in this stupid mess. And now you done got somebody and you looking at it and it's like, I didn't know they was this crazy.
No, that ain't what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That ain't what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, like, if you're getting piecemeal stuff, right? We already know, we talked about, people showing up with their representative.
Yeah, we
and
talk
all that
about
kind
that all
of
the
stuff.
time. Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, if you get things piecemeal to you, right? And then you meet with this person, this happened. It could be a long time before something tragic or something that's a situational thing comes up to where you have to process. So my thing is, why not get more, not all, but more of that information on the front end? Because if you stay in it longer, you got feelings that you got to worry about.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. Yeah, no, I'm not saying drag out a process. What I'm saying is that get the information. So that's obviously conversation as well as
but how you
watching
gonna
this
know?
person. It's both conversation and honestly, people tell us people be ignored. You need to listen to those subtle truths. Listen to what's not the romanticism.
But sometimes people hide the fact
they do.
And until you are locked in, they don't show you that.
My question sometimes to people is, where were you in this relationship? Like, what were you? Because sometimes the problem is they've been doing it, but you're dating an idea. You're wanting an idea. You're committed to because sometimes it's like loneliness will make you kind of push over some stuff that's right there. It's right there. You don't want to see the person for what that is, because guess what? It's meeting a quote unquote need. It's comfort. It's conversation. It's time spent. It's a trip. It's a whatever it is that's going on. And honestly, even with men, it kind of typically works backwards. You typically, for the most part, you meet our image and then you come into the intimacy aspect, because after all, intimacy that's a big thing, and for men, that can be a major challenge, because are you still going to see me as strength? When you see certain parts of me that may be not easy for me to share. How are you going to treat me? How do you handle if I'm having a rough day? Like what is that temperament really like? You understand what I'm saying? Because some people, and again, this is all in the context depending on the situation. Sometimes the relationship requires him only to perform. You're not asking him how his day going, what he needs. Does he need anything? Is any type of comfort? Then what type of man is he? No different than the type of woman. It's all according to the context of you and does this person fit for me? Can I be my authentic self, truthfully? And you ain't been no type of way, because you be tripping too. Not you. Well, I don't know if you be tripping, but I'm just saying.
I think that was like a shot.
No, you probably do. I mean, the way you act last season, I'm sure you was tripping. But
you just throwing me all the way under the bus.
Let me see.
But you brought a valid point when it came to like meeting people where they are and all that kind of stuff. I again reviewing some of the old footage, and it was one where it was building a man, right? Now that's one I should have got heated on, but I didn't. So I let
build a man. Explain what happened in this, because
this was the ones that y'all didn't like. This is one with the ladies by herself, and y'all just on y'all next recording just told us how terrible we was on it.
Yeah.
But basically, it was one of the hosts was basically saying that they prefer a man that they need to build up.
Yeah,
right.
This is not a project. See, thank you. See.
The question I have is, I don't agree with that either. You know what I'm saying? But it's a little bit more acceptable for a man to build up a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like no questions asked that a man meet a woman, she not really where she want to be or whatever the case may be, and he help her through. But it's a stigma when it's the other way. No, I don't agree with that part.
I mean, there's an exchange with each other. Ultimately, I guess ultimately what you're looking for is balance, right? So she is obviously, if she's a help, if you're talking about marriage, of course, if you're looking for a help meet, where does she help? Like where does, like, I'll take it, let me just use myself for example. If I say, I'm just gonna use this random thought process. I want to build a dream center. To me, the woman that fits for me is the woman that says, okay, well, I've already kind of, I'm finna get on and help you figure out how much it costs. It's gonna cost us this. It's gonna do like, do we need to go to Lowe's? Do we need to go to Home Depot? How soon? Let's get this done. It's help. You help being a part of it. It's jumping in. You need each other. Being able to have, because I'm a visionary, but I'm not administrative. You know what I'm saying? Right. So balancing that's but for what works for me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else, he's not made up like that. He's the I've calculated this how much it costs, and she may be the let's do it. Whatever. Right. It's all according to. It's just all according to. And she might just be the person that's making the phone calls, but he done did all the breakdown. Whatever it is that works for you, you got to know what works for you. But I think the notion of let me fix you is where it becomes the problem. If me building or pouring into a woman to help her, push her into becoming extra, because she already the bomb, you know what I'm saying? But just to inspire more or enlighten her more, to see even the greater that's on the inside coming to fruition. That's not me making her. I'm pouring into her, but that's vice versa. That comes into both. Like if I have a dream or I have a vision, she should pour back in. But making somebody to be in the context of like making you be what I feel you ought to be and all that. We're not.
Well, where
projects.
do you draw the line when it's like for me, when a woman say that, I'm probably could be I'm probably wrong about this, but I automatically be like, you shouldn't be doing that. You should, you know what I'm saying, be focusing on yourself and y'all come together. Yeah. I automatically think of it as a negative. I don't know why that is, but when someone says, I want to build, I'm thinking codependency. I'm thinking you think that I'm broken. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basically, like how you saying trying to fix.
Yeah.
But most people, they don't describe it in a way that they're building, because it's when they're saying it like that, it's more of a possessive thing. Like, without me, you are nothing.
Yeah, and that's not true.
You know?
And that's in that essence. If you're saying it in that context, you don't need to be in a relationship.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna tell you, like, just reviewing some of the content, I'm just like, I'm all over the place. I don't agree with some of the guys. I don't agree with some of the girls. I think, not to say I stand alone, but I think the way I think is like I can see from all different perspectives.
That's understandable.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes for me, people get the mindset that it has to be done this way.
Yeah, people typically get strong about their will, but I mean, ultimately, I guess the thought process is, what works for you? Like, does it really work? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Does this really work for you? Like, and honestly, a lot of people don't take the time to really get to know themselves. I remember someone that reached out to me actually a few days ago, that was saying to me that they were like just really tired, and they're not happy, in all like the relationships that like they're trying and stuff like that. And I was like, when was the last time you put all that energy into you? Like, when was the last time you actually took a moment to reset? And part of their problem in the assessment that we was able to come up with is realizing that they are addicted to people pleasing. And the problem with that is that you will always show up to be what everybody else need, but you end up falling short simply because of the fact you've never discovered who you really are, and not just what you have to offer that they ask you, but what are your dreams? What are your passions? Because when it's the coming together is not a neglecting of I. It may be some areas that we sacrifice avenues, because sometimes maybe it's a timing issue, but it's a us flourishing. Right. But many of us do not take the time to really get to know ourselves and sit in sometimes seasons and moments in agony of that loneliness to like really, really discover and see what you made of outside of just what you got with somebody.
Right. But I think society also says that singleness is a death sentence, basically. Like, you see everybody with somebody. You don't know if they happy, they sad. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they off of social media, they could be beating up their wife or, being verbally abused by the woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you said before, you're taking these ideas, but I agree 100% on the getting to know you thing, because I think in this last year, I've had so many layers taken off of me just by the fact that I had to realize, codependency is like real.
Yeah, it is.
That's tied to, again, the traumas and all that kind of stuff. But the feeling of wanting to be needed, wanted, all that kind of stuff, and then you feel like here we go back to that fixing things, or if I'm apart, then it's going to be better, or not really taking consideration that it takes that individual's wanting to be able to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how long you stay in relationships, whether there's friendships or whatever, it's still a two-person thing. So certainly, if you're the one that's, putting all the energy, you can't really expect for anything to come out that's ideal. Ideal is for everybody to live in harmony and, things to go right. But if you just keep, putting out, never really getting anything back in return, all that does really is dig you in a deeper hole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Certainly.
To where when you do get by yourself, because this did happen to me, I almost had a breakdown because it's kind of almost like it's a feeling of rejection, but at the same time, deep down, you kind of know. You know that that wasn't the best situation for you. You know what I'm saying? But not having enough, I guess, strength to walk away from it because, people
See, that's what I just told you in the beginning. Yeah. I said, like this information, this information. You just, the thing about it is, now nobody is perfect, but ultimately, knowing yourself, and obviously some aspects of this is trial and error. You've been in relationships before, because sometimes you will take on things you think you can handle, and only to discover, man, I really can't.
See, that's the thing that thinking back, it's you never really know sometimes how things affect you. So you'll go into it thinking that everything will be okay, not knowing that it's possible for the outcome to be whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I think, well, I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes it is hard to have the heart for people to always think that things gonna be good in the end. And I don't myself, because I don't want to speak for nobody else, but I've been on two different spectrums. I was that person, 10 years ago, you wasn't finna get the opportunity to mess over me. Yeah. The minute I can sniff that I don't even want to deal with you. I went from that to being super soft, we are the children, help the world.
Yeah, I got you.
So, like, I'm in the middle right now.
Which, I mean, as you should be. I mean, we have to afford each other the opportunity to mess up,
Right.
Grace, nobody is perfect. But I think the notion a lot of times is, can you handle it? And do you see like each other putting forth effort to really work on yourself, like to be a better person? Like, what kind of person? Do your values line up the same? Because that's another aspect. A lot of times, it doesn't work because our core values are not even the same. What am I getting when I get you? A lot of times people show up with this, again, with what they think you want to hear or what they believe, and so they just kind of fishing. But when you're really true to you, like people who are authentically true to themselves ultimately show up with, this is who I am, this is what I'm working on, this is what I don't have, this is what I do have. Here's what you get when it comes with me. If this works, it works. If it doesn't, we ain't beefing.
Right.
Simply because of the fact when we dated, the information we collected about each other says we wouldn't be good people to stay with each
other. That's it's funny that you would say that too, because there was a question when I was looking over some of the content too, is, do you think in relationships or people looking for a significant other, they always in their mind feel like they're the one put together and the person who they meet is the one who has to...
Yeah, pride. That is horrible.
And I find that a lot though. It's almost like...
Who told you that?
Yeah, I listen to other podcasts, and I ain't gonna say the name.
Yeah.
But their perception is like all because of their little bubble, and they've checked off all the boxes that they've set for themselves, not realizing that's not all inclusive to everybody else or anybody else's standards. And it's almost like, and I get the concept of you're the prize. I get that. But are you really? You know what I'm saying? Like you said before, it's like if you come in and you say it ain't nothing wrong with you, it's a problem.
No, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
It's a problem.
You're already, that lets me know right there you're narcissistic.
Yeah.
Automatically, right? Because, and the thing about it is that people a lot of times with this narcissistic mentality, behaviors, and things like that, they always they're very analytical about finding always what's the problem with you. Never anything wrong with themselves. And I live by this truth. People who are more self-aware, they're a lot more humble,
right?
A lot more gracious.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be, because it's right there in your face.
Yeah.
And if you're in tune with it, I mean,
yeah, you can't.
It's just what it is.
You can't be with somebody for a long time that don't see nothing wrong with themselves.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
They too in love with their thought process. That's weird. Like no, I know you think like that, but that's wrong.
Yeah, I when I heard like they were having like this discussion, and it was like, you can't discount what it is that you got going on and magnify. You know what I'm saying?
Certainly.
What's like that just don't make sense. Like, but I think sometimes too people think that it's especially men, like it's a weakness to be able to say I didn't make the mark in this area, that area. But if you can't come all the way put together separately and thinking that if all your boxes is filled, where does that other person fit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So I think that sometimes it's almost like that people, guys, it's mostly guys, but some women too, I guess.
I want to hear this.
Know. They just it's like they want to be able to state that they're it. Like, I'm what you need.
Let's be real though.
I'm what you need.
Let's be real though.
Because I'm a man.
Let's be
and I
real.
didn't check these boxes off.
Let's be real though. How many places really allows him in society for him to say his shortcomings and he's accepted?
You're absolutely right.
So let's be realistic now.
It's not an excuse.
But how many? But who doesn't want to be accepted? So he's gonna, a lot of times he's gonna show up like that because of the fact he wants to be accepted. So if faking perfection makes you embrace me, it's not right, but it's for acceptance. The same way some women. Fake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here he go. We were talking about men, and he come talking about how some women.
No, let's be real.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's fair. That's a fair.
Think about it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if he's like, hey, he comes, he's like, hey, my truth is I struggle with this and this and this. He's like, what kind of man is he?
I mean, but if both people being real with themselves.
But in a society that we sell images, not really built on substance, that's the problem.
Yeah.
We don't show up as our authentic self.
But I feel
a lot of times.
That's true. But I feel like, and this is just my perspective, because I still, regardless to what that podcast you guys might have seen before, I feel like headship, leadership, and all that should come from the man.
Yeah,
it really should. Like,
I'm
like that's
now that I'm
so. To
I'm not leaving that truth.
Let me be real. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Real women would recognize that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say, hey, this, and this, the woman that is the helpmate, whatever, if they're skilled in that area, they don't mind saying, oh, okay, that's all you working with on deficiency, but you got everything else. That's like gold to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you've gotten away from having to figure it all out. And that's the worst part about, to me, the dating part, figuring people out. It's like you exert so much energy trying to figure out whether or not this person is telling the truth, really is who he is, male or female. That's a whole nother,
right.
And then it's like, you're putting on this image for what? Are you stuck in the past from the last girl? Or You know what I'm saying? Are you in this space to where you ain't figured yourself out? Do you really not know? And you know, that's okay, but you know, just say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know a lot of people don't agree with that because they're so quick to say, "Oh, I ain't dealing with that," but you can be tricked into the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So which one is it? Are you gonna be tricked into it and then it come out and you still stay with that person? Or are you gonna be like, you know what, I didn't sign up for that, walk away and start over? You know, we as women, we have a problem with that because that's something we want to latch on, and it's like some of the mindset is a little bit of man is better than no man, and that's not healthy for really either party. But depending on the mindset, because you opened up with the savages, and that's part of it. They didn't just wake up one day and, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm gonna break 10 men's heart today. They didn't. It was gradual over time. You know, going through relationships. You know, this person treated them this way.
But men get their hearts broken too. And I think we're gonna have to. No, ma'am. I am going to argue you down, because that is a conversation that a lot of times we do not want to have in society, because we're not. Let me tell you something. Men have a hard rap, man, because you got social media, and man ain't this, he ain't this. You got magazines, man ain't this, and you got articles written by women who never been a man a day in their life telling men how to be men. That's number one. Sit down somewhere. I love you, ladies, but I'm serious. Sit down somewhere and stop trying to tell him what he's not, because the reality of it is that if you think about it, even when if in the context of marriage, because some of the things that we're defining, I think, has a lot to do with what you give in time, because some aspects of what we're talking about giving ourselves and having is in the context of a marriage, not in dating.
Right.
You know, and so that's a part of the problem too in society. We give marital benefits in dating. Now, ultimately he's looking for a wife. If he's serious about, that's where ultimately hopefully she's looking for a husband, if you're serious. So you're able to see these qualities, but to have this expectation from each other that you giving me these benefits that are in the confinements of covenant in marriage, things like that. That's where we're already messing up, because we don't have healthy boundaries. We haven't established. You give me something to work towards. She's supposed to, when I say be mysterious, when I say mysterious, I'm not talking about mysterious in the sense of something weird but I'm saying she's chase worthy. There's constantly aspects of him about yourself that piques his interest, that gives him something to look forward to, because you got women as well. Get the man comes and literally he done latched onto you, but you give him nothing to look forward to. You're not changing. You're not evolving. He's progressing. His mind is opening up, and you want to stay what you were when y'all first met. Stop doing this. All of this is not just a man thing. Some of this it's a society. It can go men or women. But let's be real. There are times men have given their heart. They have given their last. How many times how many women, not all now, because there's some really good women out here, just like there's some really good men, but how many women don't treat him like he's a paycheck? Doesn't say, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking on what I have. Some men out here who them wasn't his children, but he came in, he played a role. He bust his butt to make sure that they had, and he provided. He hit sweat equity. Now, I'm not saying you're throwing money at her and thinking you can control her, but no, when I provide for you, hey, I work for that. Right. That's my hard-earned money. I have sweat equity to prove that you're worth doing it for. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's what a man's supposed to do. But do I appreciate you? Do I thank you? How do I treat you? When I talk to you about things that's wrong? Case in point, if she says she's offended, I'm supposed to say, let's work it out. I'm sorry. If I say you bother me, that's your problem. Now see.
Ooh. Ooh, that sounds a little personal.
No, I know these things from personal experiences and seeing people. It's a real thing. So I live by this rule in general. No. Nobody's going to make me feel like that I'm going to be the only person apologizing. If I'm saying I'm sorry, you going to say it too. I don't play that. So, sorry. I mean, that's just, I'm very passionate about that kind of stuff. Because I believe it goes both ways. I don't think I do not believe in the notion happy wife, happy life. I believe in happy spouse, as they say, happy house. Both individuals need to be happy. He may not tell you he's hurting, but why is he drinking so much? Why is he
you should be able to pick it up.
Why is he so excessive in drinking? Why is he disconnected? Why and for some traditionally, some rather be stuck at work all day rather than he's slowful about coming home. These are is something on how was your day? How are things going on?
But that's a skill though too. You know what I'm saying? Because you got some people who've been in so many failed relationships, they don't know what to do in a good one.
But okay, I agree with that. But even though the relationship has failed, does it diminish the fact that these are qualities that I bring to a relationship or situation that says I want to treat people how I want to be treated? Ultimately, my last situation, I may have been hurt.
Right.
But do that mean that I show up based upon what has happened? Because in that case, maybe you're not healed from that.
But y'all finna say you're proactive in processing and healing. Not everybody is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to the people who have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go out into the world, you meet people, it's just trial and error, and none of the relationships are working. Nobody's talking.
But why is it not working? But then why is it not working?
If you never get a chance to sit down and process it and talk it out, you don't know.
Yeah.
All you can do is think one or two things. Yeah. It's either them or it's me.
Yeah, I mean, but it's both of us in some regards, because even if it's more you than me, maybe it's me more me than you, we all can learn something from it.
But if it is over before you can be able to figure all that stuff out, you're still going with residue of that to the next. And if that other person is willing, you know what I'm saying, to sit down and process, and see, that goes back to you being in tune with yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you never get that person that says, hey, what's going on with you? Sit down. And you just gonna keep it's there until something is triggered for you to respond in a certain way to see if he respond differently.
I agree. And most of the time, honestly, we have challenges being able to be confident in sharing what we need, because saying you need something comes off as weakness. And a lot of times, if you're in a situation, relationship, obviously, that makes it okay for you to say that you need something. Like, and I mean being there in a place where when you receive this person, or they tell you their truth, or they share with you the hardships of their life, that you're not using it as an opportunity, as a weapon later. This is not something to do that you can try to hurt me later. This is somebody confiding in you. So ultimately you're asking yourself, can I trust myself with the person? Now, going into a new situation, obviously you're assessing, you're seeing, hopefully you're definitely having a good time, but in exchange, what is these conversations really like? I think that's another part of my question a lot of times to a lot of people is like, when you go on these dates, like, what are you talking about? Like, because I'd be like,
but sometimes the stuff be so surface because people are scared to open up. You know what I'm saying?
Even if it's not the deep, I mean, I'm not saying you got to tell me about what happened.
There you go with the deep, dark secret.
Yeah, you don't have to. What I am saying is enough, just enough.
Like what? Give me an example, because you have said that a couple times.
Yeah, because I'm really wondering, what do people really be talking about? I mean, stuff like...
Most people talk about work and stuff they into like right then. It's not, how did you treat your last person?
No, these comes on later, but I'm saying in the first, but I'm just wondering what happens. I mean, I'm not on these dates with you. How many of you have, like 12? No,
you know what? He liked to throw shade. He liked to throw shade.
Let me stop bothering.
Yeah, dates for me don't be like. Yeah,
You seem like when if you go on a date, you seem like you be like, I ain't got.
What the problem I have is it's not a whole lot of intellectual people.
Yeah, I got
So
you.
it's like we already talked about that. Why are we talking about that again? Like, okay, this person must really love they whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah,
and then,
shallow.
but see, I'm the person that be like, you know what? This is a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
This was, I said, but I mean, you gotta give me more than just.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Like if I can't.
Intellectual stimulation is powerful.
Yeah, conversation, and it's not all about you trying to impress me. See, that's the turnoff for me. Okay. Somebody trying to impress me.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah. Because I need the regular smuggler. Okay, how are you at that level?
Yeah.
Press me later.
Yeah.
But and I'll just tell you about a date that I was on one time. Okay, so I actually met this guy. He called my job to get insurance.
Okay.
He's a truck driver.
All right.
Or whatever. And we was on the phone for a long time, but I was trying to make sure that I helped him out or whatever. And then you gotta pull that driving record.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I asked him, and I think it did something to him. I said, you seem like you a little reckless. Why you got all these points on your license like that? Right? So it opened up conversation. So he was telling me, I got my attorney, this, da, da, da. Anyway, so by the end of everything, we was able to get everything situated. And he actually asked me out on a date. I said, yeah. I said, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I said, I might sound sweet over the phone. I said, but one-on-one, we done already talked about your trucking business. Don't bring that up. We done already talked about, all of your legal issues. You got to give me something, more than that. So we get to, where do we go? Longhorns, right? And first of all, you late. I mean, I did just live across the street, but that's not the point. You was late.
How late?
And then
how late?
About 20 minutes late. That's a lot.
But did he tell you he was running late?
Did he? I don't think
he probably
did.
did.
I don't think
he probably did.
I don't think
he probably did. He probably told you he was running late. But because you're aggravated because you decided to be on time that time. Because let's
okay, that's beside the point. That's beside the point. I was on time because
see what I'm saying? See, right?
Like I said,
right there, that is automatically hypocritical because
I live right across the street, but that really wasn't the thing that irked me the most.
Okay.
What irked me the most was the inconsistency afterwards.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it'll be like, I don't care what your situation is right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I like you.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're a nice person. You got stuff going on. Okay. Mm-hmm. But that ain't all the boxes.
Yeah.
We get there. We did have something in common. He just had shot a film and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that took up enough conversation. Then he kept talking about D.C., Maryland, being out of town. And that was like he dropping that after this, he not going to be available because he always traveling. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like, so does it mean don't hit him up? Or?
I'm like, oh, okay. You ain't said nothing because I don't do that anyway. Like,
also basically saying don't hit me up.
Or like if I don't answer,
it's 'cause I'm
call you back. I'm like, you ain't even on that level yet.
Oh,
for me to even want to call you. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, that happened to me when I was younger one time, right? But it ended up backfiring in the dude face, right? Mm-hmm. Because his friend and my friend were dating, and it was almost kind of like a little blind date thing, and he on the phone. Well, I got this going on, so I don't know. And then went out on a couple of dates, and he blowing me up. And I was like, didn't you just say that you was, you know what I'm saying, gonna always be busy and stuff? And I'm like, well, what changed, right? And then all of a sudden, it's this whole big old whatever. I said, either you were lying before or you're lying now. Either one, I don't really like you like that. So it's not finna go nowhere. Because the inconsistency, like, what made you feel like you had to feed me that story and had never met me before? You get what I'm saying? Like, in person.
Well, maybe it was just like, I can't answer that.
Yeah, see, that ain't...
It is all according to the person. Yeah. Somebody else would probably answer that.
Yeah, so dating for me is just... It's just... it's a waste of some of my energy. And I'm not the type that's going to go on a date for a meal. Because I can cook. I can go home and...
Yeah, I got you.
Know what I'm saying? But it's... Like you said, you dealing with the people that's out there too, that's the savages that go out on a date every day just for the meal and not really, and people get mad that, you know what I'm saying, they spending money and this and that. And it's like, I need another pool of people to pick from because these ain't really going nowhere.
Where you go? That's
you know what? I really don't go much of anywhere.
I mean,
but
you need to go in some different settings. A lot of times it's where you hanging, where you doing.
What? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, the last couple of years been COVID.
Yeah.
So we ain't been going nowhere with that. Traveling, you don't know what you getting yourself into with that when you meet people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not marriage though on the first day.
Oh, I know that, but I'm still on guard to X you out.
You should.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but
I ain't trying to get married on first date.
No, I mean, I know, but I'm just saying.
But I do want to collect enough information
data
to put you where you belong.
Yeah, I got you. That makes sense though. No, that's actually fair. I mean, a lot of times though, people I think they go into it with the wrong mentality. They just kind of go and just like, I need to find out there's either one. And some like they want somebody to pay their bills, and somebody wants somebody to just.
See, you got to put up with all the mess in order for all that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't even no even exchange for me. Just work harder, get you some more hours in instead of compromising with that just because somebody helping you out. Like that's, I don't know, but I guess that's where we are. That people, I mean, but I don't even know how it got here. Like, how did it get to a point to where, 50s, you talking about families, and 60s, 70s is like households, and you know what? It's welfare. When that's, no, seriously. When that started, that took the man out of the household for it to be, you know what I'm saying, like, focusing on family, and then you got the independent women who don't need a man, and it's like, yes, you do.
Yeah, like that alone.
Yes, you do.
That alone in society is something that bothers me a great deal. Just how men are regarded, how they're treated, how they're dealt with. Not being funny, but it is what it is. The African American male, for sure. I am very passionate about that because we can get a bad rap, man, and it's a lot of times misunderstood. Nobody's really having the conversation. Now, don't get me wrong. Some the support has been provided for them. They just choose not to. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the case for all, but for some, overall, a great deal of being misunderstood or being judged or being looked over. You gotta fight in the home. You gotta fight in society. It's a fight everywhere. And so the question becomes, where is his rest? Where is his true rest? I am more and more becoming very advocating for people really going to therapy. I really am. You need to unpack until you see certain things about yourself, and what you really need. You won't really know what to go after. And so many of us are, honestly, we're out of balance. And we're out of balance because we're not dealing with things that's going on with us for real. Like, you think about how even, I was sitting in a restaurant and I just observed a family sitting together. They were sitting together, but there was no dialogue going on. Everybody was just on their phones.
Yeah, on
it
their
was texting and
phones,
things
yeah.
like that. The construct of the, I know the black family before, is you had to wash up and wash your hands or whatever. Come sit at the dinner table and you're talking about your day. You communicating. You know, how was your day? How are you feeling? You know, what's going on? Challenges and things that you face or are facing, and coming up with that. We bonded together because we communicated well. We had the infrastructure of most of us, for the most part, we had great support systems. Now, don't get me wrong, for some aspect of it, there was things that have been an issue with some things that has caused it not to be as trustworthy, because some of the people you found out were later getting molested.
Right,
You know, it's always in the context of what is your background really like? What do you understand about the world, and how are you going to get to what it is that you want to get to?
Yeah, you said a support system and role models and stuff like that. Just kind of switching it from the male, like, to the woman. When you have a father in the home or whatever, you tend to either spit out two different types of women, right? It's that woman that say, it's that super independent. I don't need you. My daddy taught me that I don't need no man. Or the flip side of that is that needy, like, I got to have a man. What is it that you think, you know, because you can have 3-4 girls in the household. 2 of them might be one, then the other 2 might, you know, turn out the other way. Like, what is it that you think that's that child, I guess, growing up is latching on to be one or the other, as far as, like, the male role models? Like, if dad is coming and he's doing everything in the household like he's supposed to do, you got those who become daddy's girls, and no man is ever going to be good enough, versus the other one is like, I need a man who gonna take care of me like how my daddy took care of my mama.
That's all that matters. I think this is my humble opinion about it. I think that, and again, I say humble opinion, I think it's all boils down to the interpretation of that relationship. And so it's your interpretation from the relationship with your father is this is what a man has to do. And a great deal of that, I think that conversation, it can be fixed because it can be explained, you know. The other part of it is that if she's the person that's pretty much saying, you know, nobody can, you know, take my dad's place and things like that. Again, perception, somebody can, but it also understand that the conversation is your daddy didn't get there overnight.
Right.
That there was a process with that. What it also do, I will say, it is also commendable. The other part of that, it is commendable in the sense of nobody, because what ends up happening is when a man marries you, when he takes you from your father's name, what he's pretty much saying is that my name is worthy enough to put on. That's the honor and aspect of it. This is why when he proposed to you, you're saying yes, not just to marriage. You're saying yes to being covenant with that name. And whatever is on that name is what's going to be part of your life. And so you got to take that. And so he don't propose to her if you're not trying to cover her. So that conversation alone becomes, in society, something that has to be, I think, explained and trained and understood, because, you know, we put demands for things that we're not responsible for. Like, who gives you the authority? It's almost like if somebody was riding behind you and they was flashing the lights, and you may slow down and you're like, you know, is everything all right? And they be like, Give me a license registration. What are you talking about, fool? You ain't got no badge. You ain't no officer. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you got going on? Who's giving you that authority? You know what I'm saying? And authority comes with a level of responsibility. And so a lot of times is that we ask women of things. Or expect of things that do we possess and have the power, the responsibility, authority, and vice versa. Can you demand something from me or ask something of me or have an expectation of me and you're not even in place? You don't even give to this. You're not responsible in that regard. And so we need to be helped and get our minds reshaped from this false sense of expectation. Why are you expecting what you can't give? You know, why are you willing to give? And I mean, even if you can't give me what I give you, but being able to, it has the same equivalence in reciprocity that is not lacking. You honestly, and I've been saying this here lately a lot, if you ever want to know what's in you, it's at the moment that you're required to give something. Anytime something is asked of you to give something, it automatically, if you just pay attention to yourself, it starts talking to you about you. Right. So depending on who's asking you for it.
Right. Yep. I was gonna say it depends on who asks.
What you think about that person.
Yeah.
The constructs and who you are as a person. Because you'll give it. Sometimes you'll give it, but you ain't gonna give it any hurt now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't sacrifice.
Yeah.
You said you did. I had to say no. You didn't. No, that didn't hurt you.
Yeah.
That didn't hurt you. But you don't know this a lot of times until it's asked of you.
Right.
To give something. The moment it's asked of you, can you give? It shows. And so if those that are watching, listening, the question you ask yourself is, how have you felt about giving lately? If it's hurting you to give, maybe it's pointing to some level of trauma and things in your life that you're not over. If you're so resistant and you're super guard, maybe it's because of where you are.
Right.
Maybe you just all out don't like that person.
Now that's true. Now
maybe you enjoy
I didn't have that happen.
the benefits of that person, but you don't want to give nothing to that person. Like, think about some people have gotten things out of you that nobody else wouldn't got out of you.
That's true.
They were like, oh nah. Nah.
You're right. You know, you're right now. You're right.
Like over here.
Yeah, you're right.
All in, whatever. What you need? What's up over here? Yeah, I don't know what to say. You got to kind of,
Well, what you need up there? And can't nobody else help you? When you need it by. I get it, yeah. And on the flip of that, like, do you feel like men who have good relationships with their mothers, do they choose spouses or partners that's like them if they've been
Typically. Can't say always, but typically you do. You know, you find if you have a good and that's why parenting is important. I really am a very strong advocate of dealing with childhood issues. I really you got to deal with them. The older I get, the more I value and I'm intentional about relationships with my parents, even more. When my father, when he had a stroke twice, and then after dealing with all of the changes that I've gone through with losing a lot of loved ones, it automatically put me in a spot mentally to say, oh man, I don't know how much time I have.
Oh man.
I mean, and not that I'm expecting him to pass anytime soon, anything like that, but it's almost like it taught me to value the gift of people and respect the gift of time. Right. Because that's a lot of things that we are something that we don't realize that time is more expensive than money.
Yeah, we take things for granted like that only because we're it's like we're just working on autopilot sometimes, and we don't slow down and actually think that. But I think COVID was a hard hitter.
And some people came out different.
Right.
Some came out the same. Some came out worse.
Absolutely.
It was like all according to like what your mindset was with your experience. Because some people just trying to get money. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be funny,
Yeah,
but money is important.
Yeah.
But what in the
Not
world?
at the expense of
Your breath?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, not at the expense.
I'm not
of your
trying to be.
life.
I'm like, yo, I get it. I get it. Like, I'm a social person, but my God,
People feel like, hey, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
and I lost your life.
Yeah, I mean,
Can barely move in your life.
yeah, that's a risk that some people are willing to take.
Money. You can get some money.
Yeah, that's big. But like you said, the mindset of the person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they looked at it as opportunity all the way across the board, not just their physical self,
No, and I'm
but
not
their
saying
situations.
we need money. You need money.
And all of that, because it's almost like when is it gonna be so freely to be given again?
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying don't get your money. Get your money.
I know what you're saying.
Prosper. I'm big on that. Prospering. Some people really prosper doing, and I'm for that. Prosper.
Right.
I'm definitely. But what I'm saying is that have we in society got so big about coming up, looking grand, looking great, that we have neglected certain values that are important, the quality of life and who we are as people. And what do we want to be looked at as in society? You got folk that sell their mama for $1. They don't.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
yo.
it's gradual. You got, like you said, social media. You got times changing, kind of looking at it as there's no moral compass anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Really, if you look at it, it's like everything is acceptable. I mean, you got people on OnlyFans that you got the. And I say that because it's like that would have been frowned upon.
Oh yeah.
And now it's business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like
hear about that.
we kind of like, okay, so when did we establish that what's being done behind this is okay?
Sex sells.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just
where we
like,
at,
you know
man.
what? Okay, I like the old school. Like for me, like
Yeah. Old school.
I can't really like get into all of the, because it's almost like some people aren't even thinking. They just going with whatever everybody
definitely.
else is doing, and they wonder why so many different areas in their lives are empty. It's because you're filling it with the wrong stuff.
Certainly, yeah.
You know, that's fly by night. There's no longevity in anything that you're doing. It's all about the come up, you know, and it's like, on top of that, you telling me that you want the picket fence, you want the, you know, everybody and all the kids and stuff to graduate college and become millionaires, but you feeding yourself junk and then you passing it down to them. It doesn't make sense. But you got the other people who they're not gonna go against the grain of everybody else to even say something about it.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I think when you talk about role models, you talk about support system, you got to be careful with the people that, you know what I'm saying, you listening to too, because it's like you got them speaking in your ear about this thing, and they could be leading you down a road path. Just because it might have worked for them, that might not be, you know what I'm saying, the same route that you should be able to go. Because you look up and you done spent, 5-10 years, and you ain't accomplished nothing. You ain't bettered yourself. You ain't learned yourself. All you've done is create trauma that you going to feel in the next 10 years. Or be done deposited in your kids. But I don't know. I think maybe the next 20 years ain't nobody going to be married. Everybody going to be single.
Hopefully not, no.
You know, they passing all the stuff that make it legal to change yourself, and then that's a whole ripple effect of what's going to happen when those people grow up into adulthood and be done switched all up. And
we're doing what's right. Honestly, to be honest with you, I know some people are not religious, so to speak, or whatever. But I think one of the things is that it's a quote, I believe, and it talks about pretty much in so many words, like how religion in some regards, great regards, help people practice a sense of restraint. So no matter what part of the spectrum of where you believe, whether it's Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever. Of course, I'm Christian, whatever, and stuff like that. But the notion is, many of us we're looking to ourselves to do what's right for ourselves, and that is ultimately part of the problem. There's no governing, because when you do just what you feel is right, and in some regards, I agree to a degree of, because I understand it, my truth, my experience. When I say my truth, my experience.
Right.
But some parts of that, the my truth aspect, can also be very dangerous, because your truth is not always, it's not all of what you may think it is. In some aspects, it's your perception, but it's your reality to you. It's not the reality of it.
Right.
And so if you don't never really filter that and actually talk through that, and somebody giving you another way to see it, you doing what's best for you ultimately puts you in this destructive path. Maybe it's not working for you because all you've done is trusted you. You don't know what it means to trust God, obviously, really putting yourself grounded or in the word, or also in conversations with people who are wise, that can help you that you trust ultimately with yourself. That says, hey, what do you think about this? Right. I did this. And I'm talking about real friendship is expensive, because it says, I'll lose you in the name that I love you, but not gain you in the sense that I lied to you. It's like, I'd rather for you to be mad at me in so many words, but I won you. I saved your life.
Right.
You may not talk to me for 20 years, but what I told you saved your life. That's cool, rather than we still been hanging out for 20 years and look at you.
Right.
And some people, they are fearful to even voice how they feel with people, because they are fearful of what their reaction is going to be and how they're going to move. But ultimately, we have to also ask ourselves a question: where do I receive correction from? Am I allowing somebody to pour into me? As much as we like to project into the world, telling everybody what they need to be doing, who telling you what you need to do? Who telling you wrong about the way you handle it?
But that's some of the problem, is that sometimes we don't allow that to happen, and that's why we stay where we're at.
Yeah, we don't want. But again, there's no conscience. So like that, there's nothing really feeding your conscience. So you're not practicing restraint. You don't have nothing in you to pull you back, like to tell you, that's wrong. See, when you don't feed that, when you're not in environments. That's the beauty of spirituality, feeding that soulish aspect of you, to pour into that, because if you just go on based upon what you just experienced alone, without actually having that conscious fed in the things that are morally right and things of that nature, doing what's right for you, man, we crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of times too, you hit on something that was big, and that's trust. Like, we don't trust. I mean, and it's because of our previous experiences, but also too, some people can't separate the person from the action. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, like for me, I have a spiritual mother. She we met on a job, and that's when I ain't like people. Right?
Okay, I got you.
And she was, I said, I think I walked by and like did a half good morning, and she was like, we not finna do that. And I was like, you know what? I like her. You know what I'm saying? Because little did she know that was my struggle. Was with, you know what I'm saying? But to this day, like it's like one of those situations to where, it's very few people that I'm gonna totally let in, and then B, actually take their advice, because like on one of them other shows, you got to be worthy of that. Like I'm not finna just listen to you because you feel like this is what it's supposed to be. Like, again, that authority.
Yeah.
You ain't got no license to tell me what to
Yeah,
do.
definitely.
You don't got a license to tell me what to do. But at the end of the day, it's like one of those situations to where it's still examining yourself. Why am I like this? Why can't nobody tell me what to do? But ultimately, once you start allowing yourself to grow, and I think that's what I used to be so angry. It was just like, where is this coming from? That nobody can tell me nothing. Because I'm not bothering you. You shouldn't be bothering me. But I'm still ain't growing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So ultimately, we definitely need to start listening to because we even know within ourselves that this ain't right. This not balanced. This not, but you don't really have anybody because you pushed everybody away to be able to feed into, you know what I'm saying, the things that you can pick it up. They can pick it up. They be scared to say something to you. Save me. Because I'm one of those people. I mean, I try to be as good as I can, but I missed the mark too. Yeah. But don't listen to the stories that Derek say. But I'm pretty, I'm pretty good. He just try to paint that picture. He paint that people, picture, man. Like
you good people, man.
Yeah, he try to paint the picture. I mean, I didn't grow. So, just like I said, please disregard. You didn't even look at the thing. I ain't even tag you in it because I ain't want to be chastised again. Let me tell you what happened after one of the after one of the filming. Now, it was some foolishness going on. It was, and I'm just aggravated from all angles. Yeah. And I'm just like, just because you jump on the bandwagon with this person, don't make it right. Yeah. And in the heat of the moment, got a little.
Yeah, she cut up. Man.
Got a little. And then, I had to go to the principal's office afterwards. And I was like, okay, I gotta get my anger in check. And ever since then, I gotta be like, okay, let me make sure this topic ain't gonna push no buttons. So I be practicing, I be practicing to make sure ain't nothing gonna come up,
man.
Afterwards.
You gotta be like, you're supposed to be like, hey, yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's funny, man.
Yeah,
that's gonna, I remember that, man. We talked about a long time and over and over.
Yeah, but that's a difference of perspectives when you put people from all
backgrounds
together and their mindsets are so different. Some dysfunctional, obvious dysfunction is like they don't want to receive. But again, this show is never to really put what I think on you. It's just to allow you to just
see
open your mind. Open your mind. Nothing is set in stone. But I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it.
You're doing it, man. You're doing it. So yeah, I totally understand that. So yeah, I think one of the things is that I will those of you that's watching, we appreciate you for taking the time to listen and be a part of this amazing time of the butterfly effect. Hopefully you have grasped that no matter what part of the spectrum you're in, realizing that your experience is your experience. However, God wants to give you an opportunity to grow. He wants to give you an opportunity to experience true relationships, love, in the context of what he intends. You're not a bad person. You have so much to offer the world. Our desire for you is that you have the most authentic people come into your circle in life. Unpack your trauma, deal with the stuff that you have to deal with so that you can be the better person that you're designed to be and ultimately reach exactly what you were set to reach in this world. You can do it. Until next time, come hang out with us at the Butterfly Effect.